So you've just purchased your Holy Grail bag. Now what? So I was reading this article on the Purse blog and it got me thinking, like, what comes after buying your Holy Grail bag and why is it always an ever-evolving process? But before we dive into all that, hey guys, my name's Caleb. I post luxury and lifestyle related content every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. If that's something you're into, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Consider joining the membership. We have a really cool Discord, other perks, different access features, so check that out below in the link below called Join. Super easy. But no, today we're going to be diving into the Holy Grail bag. Like, what is a Holy Grail bag? I mean, if you're asking that, are you really a bag collector? Safe space, I'm only kidding. Mostly. The Holy Grail bags, like sometimes they take months, even years. You're saving up for it, you're dreaming for it, you're finding the perfect combination, like the leather color, the hardware, the material. Listen, I'm no stranger to the Holy Grail. It kind of depends too on where you're in the handbag journey. So when it comes to the handbag journey, the way that I view it is kind of like a ladder, if you will. So with the ladder, you have to climb each rung to get to the top. My first rung, that was like Coach, Dooney and Burke. I'll admit I had a couple of Michael Kors bags, don't hold it against me. As I've gone up the ladder, like your mid-level of the ladder is like your LV, your Gucci, and then finally you hit the top and we all know what's at the top of the luxury bag ladder, none other than Hermès. Now listen, I have wanted an Hermès, Birkin or Kelly, I mostly had wanted a Birkin for a very long time, years if you will, actually like high school, years. Like it's been a very long time that I've wanted this Birkin. Like everyone else, I went on the journey. I started saving, doing my research, selecting the right leather color, leather type, material, hardware, all the different combinations that I knew would be absolutely perfect for me. Even though I was supposed to buy a Birkin, I bought a Kelly instead, but it still checked off all the boxes. And I was on cloud nine. I'm still on cloud nine. Like it's been almost a year and I still, like my heart skips a beat every time I take the Kelly out to film a video, carry it into the city, go out to lunch. Like that is like 100% my Holy Grail bag. But what comes next? Like after you have achieved the Holy Grail bag, like the bag you've been yearning for and searching for and spending countless nights and all those other little things like giving up the lattes or cocktails with friends, like all the little things where you can like nickel and dime and add to your savings, like that's what you do to achieve your Holy Grail bag. But after you've done it, what's next? The article really dove into the process, if you will. Like I said, the ladder, the yearning, the dreaming of the perfect bag, the mere process of the Holy Grail bag itself. Like, is sometimes the idea of the Holy Grail bag better than actually having the bag? I don't know. Like I'm totally in love with the Holy Grail bags that I've bought, and my closet's full of other Holy Grail bags that I just had to have. You would think like with the Holy Grail idea, if you will, that it's kind of like just like a one-way journey with a stopping point, but that never seems to be the case, right? So when I was into Coach, I had my Coach Holy Grail bags. I achieved those. I moved on to LV and I got my LV Holy Grail bags, and I've slowly moved up through the different designers and brands and levels, and I'm finally at well, in my mind, I wish I was more at the top of the ladder, but I'm like a few rungs down from like top peak Hermes, right? Kinda. I mean, a Togo Kelly, it's a long way away from a Diamond Birkin, we'll just say that much. As you're moving along, like the journey is so similar for all of us, but there's always something more. There's always something like the finish line is, you never meet the finish line. It's always a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. And what does that mean for our closets and why is it the way that it is, right? So I have to kind of think though, like, as time goes on, life's tempestuous seasons, if you will, styles evolve, tastes evolve, fads change, they come and go. Maybe that has to play some of a part of why we're always searching for the next bag, the next best thing, like the must have it, the new, the shiny. And I think too, another thing that has to play a big part into it is the design houses, the marketing strategies, if you will. We all know with Hermes, you have to either play the game, which doesn't always yield the results you want. And with that, you have to do the pre-spend, which is like sometimes a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 ratio, I've heard from other people. Then and only then, if your client advisor deems you worthy, will you be offered to purchase a bag. Is it the bag you wanted? Is it something on your wish list? Are you gonna have to settle on the leather type, the size, or the color specifically? Is that worth it to you? That's your journey, that's what you're on. And with all that in mind, it's almost like they're manufacturing this desire, this just out of reach, that need to have it mentality where you're gonna stop at nothing to do it. So they know that they can get you hooked into the pre-spend, the buying, the spending of the extra money in all the categories to prove that you're a worthy owner of an Hermes bag. Now, they're not the only ones that do this. If you think about it, the price increases, the ever increasing prices on everything. Listen, guys, when I first got into the game, sound like a poker player or something, but when I first got started with this stuff, if you will, thank you, Miranda Priestley, a Louis Vuitton Speedy 40, and I say this all the time, but it still blows my mind, was $640 when I first got started with this. That same bag, which is sadly, as of now, I think either discontinued or very hard to get or on an ask basis only, is $1,600 the last I knew, about $1,600, which blows my mind. They didn't make it any better. They added a zipper to the inside slip pocket, and then they made the little chads that hold the handles in, they made them puffy. Is that worth $1,000 to anybody? Not me, certainly not me. But it's just crazy, and it makes you think, like, every time we have this rumor of the price increases, like, oh, YSL going up 10%, LV going up 5-10% over different categories, it creates this almost need to buy it before the price increases again, which we know inevitably it'll increase again in another 6 months. Like, it's no secret. Like, these are like clockwork at this point, which I always kind of have to laugh. They blame it on like increasing production costs, this, that, and the other, which we all know isn't true, but it's funny that even the companies kind of fuel this need, this consumption, if you will, this conspicuous consumption of goods and always needing more, more, more. And at what point do you achieve purse piece? First of all, I hate the term. For some reason, saying purse piece, you know how some people hate the word moist? Mine is purse piece. I hate saying it, but for lack of a better word, that's what it is. When do you achieve the handbag nirvana? Can we call it that? And I don't know if you ever could, really, because you're always going to be putting another bag on a pedestal, building for it, working for it. Maybe you have a big sale, which vlog sale coming very soon. It's gonna be a live sale again, so check my community page for updates. You do what you can, you nickel and dime here, you save here, maybe you give up on a vacation here, or you don't buy the new car, or you make adjustments in your life to make this thing happen. You get the bag, life's great, but then you're on to the next bag already. Now, I don't know if I'm the only person that does this, but when I'm looking for a new bag or like a new style aesthetic, I envision what my ideal life could be. So like if I had a Kelly 32 Cellier, then I'm gonna be, roaming the streets of southern France in a small town, having lunch at a cafe, jetting off to Lake Como for the weekend. And just like I romanticize this beautiful life, and this new handbag is a part of it. But then ultimately, and I'm not the only one that is guilty of this, ultimately the most glamorous thing I'm probably gonna do with my new Hermès bag is go to Target and then pick up Shake Shack when I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, we all have this like idealized self, idealized life, and I think the Holy Grail plays kind of a part into that. And just like I said before, we're always evolving, always changing. So will our likes and dislikes. Maybe you bought the Holy Grail and it didn't live up to its perspective, or you're too afraid to use it, which I'm 100% guilty of with my Hermès bags. Sometimes I'm too afraid to use them and they're just like relegated to weekends, special events, lunches, things like that. And then they just sit in your closet and you still have to buy something that's gonna kind of like fill that void, if you will, that instant gratification that you can carry all the time, not worry about. And there's always gonna be something more on the horizon, always something new. So I think that with my journey moving forward, and I'm 100% guilty of this, in between my big bag purchases, I make lots of little small like contemporary brands or like an affordably priced LV like on the pre-loved market to kind of like fill that void and kind of satiate myself in between big bag purchases. I think outside of my like big H purchases or really well thought out like LV Suhali, multicolor, like truly intentional pieces added to my collection, I'm not going to be buying the little filler bags in between anymore. That can kind of cloud the journey, it can slow the journey down, that's for certain. And I just need to focus more on appreciating what I have and building the collection that I truly want, and not worrying about like exclusivity or missing out, or the FOMO, the fear of missing out, if you will. Take a step back and just like enjoy bags for what they are, because trust me, they're a lot of fun, but you can easily get carried away. That was just my jumping off point for today. This article just really made me think, and I think this is true for all of us. Just enjoy the journey. There's always gonna be that next Holy Grail, the next big bag. I'm already working for my Birkin, and I've had this now for nearly a year. It'll be a year come in October. I'll probably get my Birkin around the same time, so I'm just gonna enjoy the journey, make like 1 or 2 big purchases a year, and just like let the rest fall into place. Let me know your approach to the Holy Grail. Like, is it a one and done? Is it ever evolving? Let me know in the comments, because I think this could be a really interesting conversation for us. And members, let's carry this over to the Discord. Let's really get a conversation going over there. Until next time, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.